I get so nervous to film these types of videos because I just want to do the topic justice, you know. I just want to make sure I come across the right way, I say what I want to say. So if I'm looking down a lot, I've kind of written out what I want to say in this video because I think it's really important, and I just wanted to like pre-plan everything so I had structure in the video and wasn't just rambling. So today we're obviously going to be talking about the beauty industry, and Quickened actually was the one that came to me with this video idea, and as she was kind of explaining her thought process and her ideas for it, I was like, yes, because I have felt this way for so long, just personally, and I had never extended it out to see like the big picture. I never really thought about it this way, and so it just was like an epiphany for me. I knew that my feelings about makeup and the beauty industry had changed. My values had shifted, and I wasn't really sure how to put it all into words, but I tried my best for this video. So yeah, let's talk about the biggest issues in the beauty industry. Now I do want to shout out Ready to Glare. She's done a couple videos on the issues of other issues in the beauty industry, and I find those videos fascinating. So if you want more expanded on this, I will link her videos down below. So fast fashion is obviously discussed a lot in regards to its sustainability and ethics or lack thereof. I've been very vocal about fast fashion and my stance on it on my channel, and I have not purchased fast fashion items beyond merchandise at concerts in about a year and a half. However, the beauty industry, and specifically the makeup industry, is also starting to be under the microscope for its wastefulness, the impossible demand, new releases creating at lightning speed, in the words of ColourPop, the average person simply cannot and has no reason to keep up with. But of course, in the world of social media, newness is everything and necessary in order to keep the engagement in your content alive, especially if you're a makeup artist or an influencer. A lot of influencers actually wouldn't be caught wearing the same outfit twice on their Instagram pages, and so now they're feeling the pressure to also wear the newest makeup releases, and anything that's older than like a year is like last season, a lot like the fashion industry. This idea didn't really exist very much back in the day, like in 2013 to 2015, I want to say, like the peak of the beauty industry and like beauty gurus on YouTube and things like that. And even if it did, if this pressure did exist back then, which I will admit that it did exist because I felt it as someone who was trying to be a beauty guru, there was only like one palette released per brand per year. Now companies are competing with each other with these constant releases and building the hype, and it's just so much that no one can keep up at this point. So what do brands do to stay relevant and ensure sales? Well, a lot of them will create a huge demand by collaborating with an influencer or a celebrity, although let's be real, influencers are much more marketable nowadays than celebrities. Some of the time, a lot of the time, well, especially recently in this past year, a lot of the influencers aren't even known in the makeup world. They're not necessarily makeup artists, they're just a big name with lots of followers who were available. Or of course there is the infamous influencer that will launch their own makeup line. But demand isn't really enough to sell out a product. No, the brand must also create urgency around the launch. The idea that if the consumer does not buy right now, they will miss out on the most popular product of the month, or God forbid, the year. For example, this is something that I've noticed in a lot of brands this year. They will not tell the consumers that there will be a restock until after the product has already sold out. They will not tell the customers that the products or the line of makeup, the collection, is permanent until after the first whole batch of products is completely sold out, and then they will announce that they're coming back. This puts pressure on the consumer so much so that people will like cry and have mental breakdowns over not being able to get their hands on a certain collection, and it puts the pressure on the customer to get that product as fast as they can, otherwise they're going to miss out. And now some companies might do this because they weren't planning a restock, so they won't say that there's going to be a restock because they weren't necessarily planning on it, or they weren't planning on their products being sold out so quickly, so they just weren't anticipating a huge restock so soon, and that's why they don't announce it. But I think a lot of companies know what they're doing and are kind of manipulating their customers in this way. And I think most of them are prepared with that second batch of products. And because the first launch sold out and then these people are left heartbroken, they wait a little while and then they will announce a restock, and then those people who missed out, who were heartbroken over it, are inevitably going to purchase the second launch However, after 1 or 2 restocks, the product is now considered old news. The brands will need to create a new way to get your money, and so they will create 10 more products within the year that also create the same level of demand and urgency, and then the cycle continues. Consumers will spend thousands of extraneous dollars while also throwing away their barely touched products from last year that are either expired or just outdated. There's also another manipulative marketing strategy in a lot of these affordable makeup brands, making things wallet friendly. And there's my cat just coming on into the video. Skipple. So affordable companies will market their products as wallet friendly, which leads consumers to purchase more than they needed to or even wanted to. You know, when a lipstick is only $5, why not buy 3? The price point makes it much easier for the consumer to keep up with the lightning fast releases that they're releasing throughout the year when everything is under $15. It's all a marketing strategy, and it's creating this new wave. Well, it's not really new, but it's creating like a much more massive wave of fast makeup, selling as many new products as possible for as little cost as they can to make the most money, and also while staying the most relevant. It's almost a manipulation tactic for most companies because they don't have a choice almost anymore in the way that the beauty industry is going, especially in the makeup industry. But I hate to break it to you, much like fast fashion companies, beauty brands only really care about their image and your money. What I've seen personally is the amount of demand created for fast makeup is almost exceeded the amount of demand for fast fashion at this point, and it's extremely wasteful and harmful to the environment and to you. I also want to point out that when a company is manufacturing and producing a dozen new products per year, then they are almost always participating in unethical production while also creating potentially toxic products for the consumer. Brands will often turn to inexpensive but effective methods and materials to pump out products as quickly as they can, but at what cost to their customer and to the environment. So let's talk about waste when it comes to the beauty industry, shall we? It is not the biggest culprit of when it comes to plastic waste. We have the packaged food and beverage industry to thank for that. However, the types of materials required to package beauty products, both makeup and skincare, are not as easily, I say easily, it's not easily, nothing is easily recycled at this point. It's not as easily recycled as other plastics. And actually about 90% of all plastic does not get recycled. So the plastic created for packaged food and beverages takes roughly 1,000 years to break down in a landfill, while beauty product plastic is sometimes mixed material, actually most of the time is mixed materials that are nearly impossible or highly expensive to separate and thus will never break down in a landfill. Also, brands will use fancy packaging to make the consumer think it's more luxurious and expensive, but in reality, many lipsticks are actually weighted down so they feel like better quality, but then it creates a product that is completely unrecyclable. It's not that the beauty industry creates the most plastic waste or the most waste in general, it's just that the waste that it does create makes it more difficult to break down simply because of the materials needed to preserve the products. Now, people are cracking down and caring more about, you know, the environment and synthetic products, things that they purchase and put on their own skin. And a lot of companies are taking notice and changing their production behaviors, such as using less packaging, using post-consumer recycled plastics, using ethical methods of production. However, some companies will just use good old greenwashing as a selling tactic. More and more people are becoming more mindful consumers, and not only are they looking for good products, but they also want to invest in companies that align with their values and what is important to them, so we have to rely on the transparency of the brand. Unfortunately, for many brands that appear to be good for the environment and for you, it's merely a facade. The company is simply attempting to mislead the buyer into thinking that it's environmentally friendly. Kristen Leo's done a couple videos on this. I will link it down below. Find it fascinating. There's a lot of information out there on greenwashing. In addition, brands will often use natural ingredients in their products that make it sound more appealing, more eco-friendly, but this could all completely be a cover-up to hide the still existing toxic chemicals in their ingredients lists. Also, not all natural products are created equal. While some may be clogging your drains, others are not ethically sourced, because that of course would cause cost more money and more time. So even if the products contain natural ingredients, that does not necessarily mean it is still good for you and still good for the environment. I do find it interesting, while at the same time that the beauty industry is so manipulative in its marketing, the internet explodes when there are some extra ingredients in their products, like a couple fibers, which I agree is horrible. Obviously something went wrong in production when, you know, foreign objects are in the makeup products that we're purchasing. That is bad, should not be accepted at all. But also I feel like this energy could be shifted and put towards the cosmetic industry as a whole, because I think that you'll find worse things out there. Of course, we can't avoid plastics and misleading marketing when it comes to the beauty industry, and I think we just have to treat it like we do fast fashion. Simply be more conscious and mindful as a consumer, do more research if you're unsure about a company or a product. Don't buy more than you need because of the price point, hype, or marketing. Also ask yourself at the end of the day, do you really need it? Do you really love it? Or are you really gonna use it? Because only then should it reserve space in your life. This also goes far beyond the average person. Of course, social media and influencers are constantly contributing to this consumerist mindset and constantly feeling like everyone needs the new and the best products out there. Not to mention, one of my pet peeves, the wasteful PR packaging, because companies feel the need to send out these extravagant PR packages to impress not only the influencer but their viewers. I think we need to get past this whole more is more mentality when it comes to makeup. You know, it used to be goals to have a beauty room just like your favorite YouTubers with towers of Alex drawers filled with the, you know, best and most popular brands on the market. But this level of consumption is completely wasteful, and I think people just need to be more realistic about what they actually need in their life and what they'll actually use up. Now, as far as my personal experience, when I went cruelty-free, I immediately weeded out a bunch of brands, and my consumption of beauty products completely decreased, like so much so, even while I was still receiving a little bit of PR. However, making beauty videos at that time, I felt that if I didn't make tutorials using the brand new overhyped palette release that I almost shouldn't bother, because who wants to see a neutral look using old makeup when the newest, hottest product is being featured by a talented makeup artist, you know? It almost just feels like an average consumer of makeup with a normal sized collection with just like average makeup isn't accepted as much in the beauty community. And God forbid we all use old makeup from, you know, old releases that aren't expired, but still like older. It's just not as exciting, you know? People don't want to watch beauty videos about that. Because of this pressure, and I was constantly purchasing new releases and things like that, I ended up throwing out an ungodly amount of half-used and unused expired makeup. And then that just like flipped a switch in my brain or something, because I went from trying to be a beauty guru to being a casual consumer and wearer of makeup, and I just felt like that lifestyle fit me so much more. And of course, I'm only speaking about my own experience. I'm not saying everyone has to go through that same pattern or life path or anything like that. I just simply felt discouraged in the community because it's almost expected that some level of artistry is necessary beyond doing neutral looks in order to be interesting in the, you know, YouTube world of beauty. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because the amount of artistry and talent out there is so inspiring, even to me as someone who just casually wears makeup and doesn't do a lot of extravagant looks or anything like that. And of course, these things are going to be more interesting than yet another bronze smoky eye. I totally understand. I just think we need a balance of being acceptable to use older makeup and just use up products as we go, instead of constantly needing the new in order to feature it in videos and social media and everything like that. I just feel like social media has gone rampant with promoting this idea of purchasing every single new thing that comes out. So of course, with all that being said, I'm not saying you have to give up makeup as a hobby, or if you're an artist, or even if you're just passionate about it and you like wearing it every day. I'm not saying to stop wearing makeup. It's simply about being more conscious and just making an effort and doing what you can and making better decisions. And also mostly about using the makeup that you already own. Just use it up. Project pans still exist. I don't know if you remember back in the day when we would do project pans to try to use up old makeup. They're still out there. There's a hashtag on Instagram. Just stop being sucked into this demand and urgency of every single makeup launch, because you'll end up broke and swimming in products that will expire before you have the chance to use them up, and then they will become waste, and you've just wasted money and products, and it's just hurting the environment. I hope more people start talking about the sustainability of the beauty industry as well as the fast fashion industry, because both are having an impact on the world and as us as consumers. And even just like a little bit of effort on our part to educate and shop smarter can make a huge difference. I probably left out so much information. I will link articles that were helpful to me, that are interesting, down below. And just, you know, if I missed something big that you want to talk about in the comments, please feel free. I hope this sheds a little bit of light on, you know, this new perspective that I've recently come to realize about the beauty industry and makes you think a little bit. Hopefully it does that for you. And if you want to see my video kind of similar to this on fast fashion, I will link it here and down below, of course. So yeah, that's everything I have to say about that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.